Are you ready?
Power.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
I'm building an alliance.
God bless the internet.
Okay, let's party. It's showtime.
It's time for the Alliance Guys podcast with your hosts Kevin Frazier, Jaden, DKM, and J. Cal.
What is up, everybody? This is the Alliance Guys podcast, a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com, your number one source for news and information. And we're starting to jump into the Texas wrestling scene. Maybe that'll be our next frontier. With me, of course, is Mr. DKM, and we also have David Fuller here in the house. What is up, gentlemen? How are you today?
Howdy.
Now, we are here. Oh, DK, you didn't say anything.
Are you sure we're not there?
Well, if we're not here and we're not there, man, then I don't know where we're at.
There, everywhere.
This week went fast. How did it already become Thursday?
Okay.
No, it's our a special episode, of course, of the Alliance Guys podcast. We want to thank you guys for tuning in on a Sunday. We know that you have a lot of options in viewing of entertainment and wrestling and all that fun stuff, so we're glad you're here with us. Now, we're going to be talking about, of course, the iconic Heroes of Wrestling Excellence and their card that they're having this weekend. Yeah, I got it right. I've been practicing all week. We're going to talk about the card that happens this Thursday, both the Insane Hardcore Wrestling and, like I said, the IHWE event, both taking place this Thursday, March 31st. 5 p.m. is the Hardcore show. 7 p.m. is the more traditional style of pro wrestling. Everyone's welcome to both shows. David, Wrestlemania weekend, man. Are you pumped up? I mean, this is your baby. How excited are you?
I'm not pumped up. I'm in my ready to be over with stage. So I'm already sick of it. I'm sitting here asking myself, why did I agree to do this? So, but no, everything's cool. There's a lot of buzz in the air. It's really exciting. Me, you wouldn't know it by looking at me, but I'm a perfectionist. So I want everything to go as planned, and I have visions and just all these ideas in my head. And then I start asking my team, hey, can we do this? And my team's like, yeah. And then I have to start bringing it down. Like my vision starts all the way up here, and then I have to start settling. So, but everybody's been great. I got a great team, Devin included. I've got a great team, and I'm really excited for these. Some of these guys like Devin, they were in the audience at Parade of Champions, and now they're going to be backstage. They're going to be a part of it, and so that's really cool for long-term fans to have to be in it, to take your hands and apply it to the clay and make something is really exciting, and they deserve the opportunity. Because I think if you have passion, I'm the walking, glaring example of what passion can do as long as you're willing to accept whatever comes and you're willing to work for it. I'm a walking example because a guy like me should have never been involved in the wrestling business. But here I am. So I'm pumped. I'm a little at ease at the moment just because there's aside from promoting on social media and going out and handing out more flyers, there's not a whole lot to be done right now other than just prep. And that's what I'm doing. But yeah, I'm ready. I don't really enjoy it while I'm there. Everybody asks me, when do you enjoy it? I enjoy it after it's over and there's nothing to worry about anymore. And I can go back and see what people are saying. And that's when I'm home in bed and I can just sit there and reflect, then I can enjoy it because then there's nothing to stress about. I can't take 5 minutes and enjoy it while it's happening because that 5 minutes can be used to make sure something else needs to be done. So I do not enjoy it. Devin's going to realize firsthand what a nightmare I am to work with on March 31st. So, hopefully he'll still be with me after March 31st, but
Oh, I'll just take a few drinks, even though I don't drink.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to drive Devin to alcoholism. So,
What are we going to put out there? We're going to put out some Jack Daniels. We're going to put out some vodka.
Ridglea will have a full bar. So, whatever you need to do.
Well, let's look at this show. I mean, there's two big shows that are happening for you guys. Now we know that on this next weekend, the Dallas-Fort Worth area becomes the the holy grail of professional wrestling as Wrestlemania weekend comes in. We know they're going to be right, the epicenter. We know that there's going to be Ring of Honor is going to have a show, their first show back with Tony Khan under ownership. Impact is going to be out there. Of course, WWE is going to be putting out a lot of programming. It seems like everybody wants a piece of that pie out there in the Fort Worth, Dallas area. But you guys kick it off. You kick it off Thursday night at the help me pronounce it because I don't want to say
Ridglea Theater.
Ridglea, okay.
You got it.
I've been saying it every wrong way leading up to this event. So the Ridglea Theater. Now, what's your history with the Ridglea Theater? I know you guys have been there before.
We ran the Parade of Champions on the exact same day. So, Devin, 6-7 years ago?
6 years ago.
6 years ago. There you go. 6 years ago, 2016, on the exact same day in the exact same venue. So, maybe that date and that venue at the same time, on the same date, at the same venue, with the same stars aligned in the sky, maybe we strike gold again. The venue's great. It's historic. I believe Devin, as I alluded to on the previous show, went to movies there as a kid. And, there's a lot of history there. And it's beautiful. It's a safe venue. People know it. It's got a marquee. We actually got posters up. These monstrous-sized posters are sitting in front of the Ridglea right now, which is really cool. And free, parking. Plenty of parking in the back. Free parking. So that we might be the only show around that has free parking. So rock on. It's off Camp Bowie. It's about 10 or 15 minutes, but located from downtown Fort Worth. Two major highways, 820 and 30, are connected to Camp Bowie. Camp Bowie is just one long continuous street. But the Ridglea has been very good to us. So I love the Ridglea. There's an ambiance and an atmosphere that you just can't get at a whole lot of places. It's 70 years old, and there's just something about older venues. And this has been restored, so it's not falling apart by any means. And there's a smell.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It is beautiful, yeah. Compared to what it used to be, I went to a show there in 2005, and it was you could see its age. And just, there's a lot of upkeep. The people that went through and got it a few years ago actually put $1 million plus into a restoration. So that's a lot of money. Us being associated with anything that has million in it just is mind boggling. So, but anyway, it's a great venue. I think people will enjoy it. Everybody has ever been to the Ridglea Theater for one of our shows has always walked out saying, "Oh my God, the venue." They love the venue, and the venue can make or break an event. Used to, like I said, I put on shows, backyards, gyms, wherever, closets. I don't care. That was my attitude then. But now there's something about walking into a theater and looking around and going, wow, this is really cool. You feel comfortable. You're going to stay longer. You're going to come back. You're going to spend more money. It's going to be a real simple decision, as opposed to going to another venue and you're like, I don't know about this. Whoa, I don't know what that is, but hopefully it doesn't bite me, or, whoa, I'm not coming back here. So, I mean, we got to look at that. And I've got a really good relationship with the Ridglea. We've run events. The Ridglea knows we clean up. We're professional. So, I mean, they know all these things. So it's real easy to have a relationship and an ongoing event status with the Ridglea because they know what they're getting with us. This will be our 4th event at the Ridglea Theater. We've never had any issues there. We very much like it. It's a fantastic venue. It's a Fort Worth landmark. There's a big marquee. People drive by it every day. There's thousands of cars that drive by there every day. So it's a great venue, and I absolutely love it.
And as a part of your galvanization of the 2 days, the 2 shows, 1 day event, I noticed that you're advertising a lot of celebrities who are going to be guests at the show. What goes into bringing in, talent that is in a non-wrestling capacity, and how does that make the show improve the show for you and your fans?
I don't know if it improves the show per se, but it's about the brand awareness. Getting Lee NAILON, who is so integrated in the community, TCU and NBA alumni. That guy's the head coach of the Fort Worth Funk, the TCU alumni basketball team. He's going to be there talking about what they're doing with the Fort Worth Funk. Everybody in Fort Worth who has grown up here and watched TCU basketball knows who Lee NAILON is. So when you got a guy like Lee NAILON who comes in, the fans of Fort Worth go, oh, I know who Lee NAILON is. I'll go to that event because he's there. You've got Katie Lynn from America's Got Talent. She was a semifinalist a few years ago. Simon Cowell just went absolutely bonkers over her voice. Just this amazing, beautiful vocalist. She's from Dallas, Fort Worth, grew up here, still lives here to this day. Again, people may remember her from America's Got Talent, and maybe they haven't been keeping track on what she's doing. Maybe they see it and go, oh my goodness, Katie Lynn is there. We'll go to that. We've got Ty Walker and Eli Jordan from 1310 The Ticket. 96.7 and 1310 FM AM radio here. Everybody in Dallas Fort Worth has been listening to The Ticket for all your sports opinions and needs for years. Again, integrated into the community with these local institutions. Eli and Ty people have been listening to them for years. Once again, people may see that and go, oh my goodness, we'll go to that because those guys are there. You've got Mark LOWRANCE. Everybody in Dallas, Fort Worth knows Mark LOWRANCE. But what few people don't know about Mark LOWRANCE is for the long time before World Class or after World Class, I don't remember which one it was. It was before or after or both. He was the voice of TCU sports. I remember going to a basketball game years ago. It was TCU against the University of Texas. And Mark LOWRANCE was the PA announcer. So, and he's also been affiliated with the Texas Sports Broadcast Network. So Mark LOWRANCE is a voice ingrained into the community, not just from a wrestling standpoint, but if you want to go there, everybody who was a fan of World Class Championship Wrestling knows who Mark LOWRANCE is. He moved to Fort Worth when he was 1 year old. And again, I think I said this on a podcast. I don't remember which one. Mark was an usher at the Ridglea Theater when he was a teenager. So so there's, he knows the Ridglea as well. So you've got Rob Hall, who is a world record powerlifter. He holds a world record in powerlifting. Now, what few don't know is, or the few who do know, maybe they don't, maybe they do, his dad, a former NWA Texas Tag Team Champion, Bobby Too Bad. And this guy had a cup of coffee in the business early on. He did the training. He did a couple of shows locally, decided, you know what, not right now. Let me go do this powerlifting thing and make a name for myself. And he has. He's got 45,000 Instagram followers. He has a huge following on social media. He even has his own annual powerlifting meet. So there's a guy who's going to come and be a guest. And we're talking. We want Rob Hall to be a part of the IHWE going forward. But for this show, he's a guest. Again, you're looking at the powerlifting and the bodybuilding world. Okay, Rob Hall's going to be there. Brick Savage, as he wants to be known as. Okay, I'll go see that. So again, you bring in these celebrities from a regional standpoint or from a state standpoint, and you see them, and they've all got social media followings, and they've all got their own followings. When they come and they're a part of our brand, and our brand is shared to those people, it's more awareness. So it just brings more people to what we're doing. I can't get people to find out what we're doing and how good we are until they find out about it. So it's awareness, it's education. This is an easy way to do it without just funneling tons of money into different advertising concepts that may or may not work. Some are hit, some are miss. Here's a way to bring somebody in. You get some pictures, you get some media. They have a good time. You have an ongoing relationship with these people. I mean, Vince McMahon did it when he started Wrestlemania. Muhammad Ali, Mr. T. Granted, these individuals aren't those individuals, but you start out with you're running a regional show. You start out with the regional celebrities. And that's what we're doing. And hopefully it can progress and evolve into something bigger later. But I like them coming. I think it'll bring members, fans who may not necessarily know or care what we're doing. But if they sit and watch it and they like it, they'll come back, whether the celebrities are there or not. And it's also good for Eric Bischoff talked about this a while back, and it made sense. When people are dogging on him for doing Road Wild and doing the thing with Jay Leno, Eric Bischoff did that to get advertisers. That's part of the reason we're doing this. Let's put these folks in a booklet, pictures of them, videos of them, and take that to sponsors and brands and footwork and say, hey, look who was at our show. And that might get us in the door.
Yeah. I mean, that's a brilliant strategy. I particularly like the fact that you have the powerlifter Brick Savage there, because the potential for something to happen. I mean, especially at wrestling, that it's always a powder keg. Something could happen. And if you're a fan of bodybuilding, why not go check out this guy that you've seen or you follow or you're inspired by? Who knows? Maybe he might get his hands a little dirty on Thursday night.
Exactly.
I think that's very exciting. And then I know you must have slipped, but you also have the New York Times best-selling author Keith Elliot Greenberg.
Oh, I was saving Keith for last.
Absolutely.
But that's all right. Yeah, Keith. I can't even begin to talk about how great Keith is and how much he's contributed to the business. So Keith, he wrote the Too Sweet Rise of the Independent Wrestling Revolution, and he's a New York Times best-selling author, legitimate. He spent 20 plus years working in WWE. He co-authored books on Freddie Blassie, I believe Superstar Pillagram, and the Nature Boy Ric Flair. I mean, he's written for he's done Playboy. He's done so many, The Village Voice. Yeah, boy, there's 2 publications. You put them together, that's interesting. So, I mean, but he's done it all, and he'll be down here, and he did so much for us with the Independent Wrestling Revolution book. I'm so glad he's coming. I've never met him, and I'm really looking forward to it. There's another guy, New York Times bestselling author, and he's coming down to hang out at our show. That is going to go real far when we're reaching out to advertisers and talking about, hey, here is who is involved with our brand.
And our friend Fiona from Scotland says that Keith is a legend.
Absolutely.
And that you're going to love him.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, in the show, I mean, it's a pretty stacked card. You have 2 cards, which let's address the hardcore combat, the extreme combat first. And I know I see there's a lot of matches there. Of course, you've got some women in action. You've got a title that looks like you're going to be crowning. Which matchup are you guys going to kick the night off with? What's going to start this revolution?
Good question. I think if we're gonna put a really thoughtful on it right now, I think they would be really smart going with Jaden Newman and Benny Pacifico. Those are 2 guys that have wrestled each other all over the country. They're 2 of the most known independent stars in the country, but they've never wrestled each other here. They have both wrestled in Texas, but they have never wrestled each other here. They've wrestled each other all over the country, but never here. So I think that would be a really good match to start out with. And again, You look at IHW and you go automatically to hardcore and deathmatch because number one, look at the acronym, look at the name, and look at the history. That's not necessarily what it's going to be about in 2022. It's just going to be an alternative brand IHWE with different characters, different matches, different personalities, different opportunities that the fans, there's some fans out there that may not care for IHWE because it's PG. It's just PG. It's straight up wrestling. It's traditional. It's for the family of 4 to 5 to 6 to come out and enjoy. We're not really trying to appeal to anybody else but that mother, that father, and those kids. IHW is an opportunity for us to possibly appeal to somebody aside from the family. But at the end of the day, we're not really interested in going all out with hardcore and death matches. However, there will be the opportunity there to sway a little bit and get creative. We've got a match I'm really interested in is Sam Beal and Simon Miller. Now, Simon Miller has never wrestled in North America. This will be the first time. He is a huge name in the United Kingdom. He's a part of What Culture. He is a very big deal. Hundreds of thousands of followers on Twitter and YouTube. Sam Beal has wrestled a lot for Impact Wrestling. He has wrestled in Texas, but never in Dallas-Fort Worth. And again, it's a tale as old as time. You got the guy with the great hair and the guy with no hair. So, this is what they're going to be talking about in Dollar Shave Club. Hopefully we can get an endorsement from Dollar Shave Club after this. We've got Morgan Mercy and Nova Phoenix. Now, I like this match because these two athletes, these two women's wrestlers, they're not just the norm. They are big, and I mean that in a power standpoint. They are just wow. They would probably kick everybody's butt in a bar.
Sure.
They would. They are just two women that aren't going to take anything from anybody. So I can appreciate that. Nova Phoenix is a second generation superstar of Southern Wrestling Hall of Famer Ray Evans. Morgan Mercy is going to be somebody that we're paying attention to a lot in Texas. She just got started not too long ago.
Now,
I see a question there about streaming the show. Okay, so I'll address this real quick. We are not streaming the show live from a full show capacity. We are going to be having videos throughout the day on our social media, which we'll be happy. I'm sure Alliance blog podcast will be sharing those links throughout the day and the week. So we will have live video throughout the day, particular matches. However, everything is being taped for future streaming on our weekly episodic programs. We're going to have IHWE TV and IOL, Insanity Online. So those are going to be the two shows. They're going to be weekly episodic. They're going to go on probably in May. So you just have to hold out for a little bit. But, it'll be great because you'll get a new match every week with some videos and some promos. It'll be a whole package together. And there's just so much competition out there this week, especially on Thursday. So, we would really get lost in it all if we decided to go live. However, we will have live video throughout the day. Our social media ambassador, Mulan, she'll be running our accounts. We'll be live on TikTok. My wife does that. So there'll be ways to watch us live. And in addition, you'll have fans there. And I'm sure they'll be going live as well, which I'm not going to make a big deal about. So, just watch our social media accounts, and we'll have stuff live going on throughout the day. We're not looking to do a pay-per-view. However, all of our content that we tape will be available in weeks to come on our YouTube, and you won't have to pay for it. So score.
Right.
Back to the card. We have a IHW championship match to crown the first IHW champion in about a decade. It is a Texas slugfest. And basically, it's just going to be 6 guys in the ring beating the hell out of each other. You've got Aaron Mercer, who is
No relation.
Yeah, there you go. No relation. That's right. He's going to be bringing the Mercer effect. I don't even know what that is. Devin, I know you're no relation, but maybe you know what the Mercer effect is. I don't know. So
too much for people to handle.
There you go. I like it. That's what I would have said. You've got Rugged Wilder. You've got Mr. MPX, Stephen Kirby. You've got Corey O'Neill, graduate of DFW All Pro Wrestling Academy. And you've got the Mad Prince, who is off on a normal day. And then you've got the most agile super heavyweight on the planet, Sam Stackhouse. And they're all going to be competing for that spiked up IHW championship. So this is going to be this will not be your catch as catch can classic. However, it'll be a fight, and that's what IHW fans want to see. I don't even know the rules for this. I don't even know the office knows the rules for this, but I would assume last man standing, but who knows? There will be a new IHW champion crowned. So we've got that. So you've got the women's match. You've got Benny Pacifico. Also, you've got Reggie Lincoln and Phil Noir. Now,
this one looks interesting to me because, well, Phil Noir, that just looks very, very interesting.
He's our gumshoe detective. He is our gumshoe detective, and he's an interesting character. I like what he brings to the table. Reggie Lincoln is a long time standout from Texas. He was trained by Killer Tim Brooks. So he's hilarious. So you got two very entertaining individuals here, and that's what's so cool about IHW is IHW is all about stuff like this. You bring something different to the table, and that's what I like. So those are your announced matches for the IHW show. And again, there'll be some surprises and maybe some unannounced matches as we get closer to Thursday or on Thursday. However, that's where it stands right now, and that's a good show.
If you know college students, this is the show they're going to love.
Right. I
mean, this is kind of made for that 17 through about 27, audience that hasn't married, settled down. They're going to go to Crockett Row after, the show and hang out there at the clubs and all that stuff, which Crockett Row is only 8 minutes away from the theater.
Yes.
So
I agree.
DK, your boys going?
Maybe. So anyway, so yeah, if you know college kids here in either they're coming in from out of state or out of town,
TCU, UNT, yeah, exactly.
Any of those ones in the area, hey, this is it for them. This is what they're going to want to come to. The girls are going to want to come look at the guys in the thing. The guys are going to come look at the girls that are waiting. So,
right. No, I agree. And it's part of a doubleheader. It's part of a doubleheader as well. So you get both shows, whether you're more interested in IHW or not, depending on the demographic. You get both shows. Once you buy your ticket, you're locked in for both shows.
So I guess I'm a little confused, David, and clear this up for me.
Yes. So
it's not all just hardcore wrestling. It's a blended style of wrestling. It's just a more modern take on pro wrestling.
Yes, it's exactly what it is. Exactly what it is. It'll be it's just we're doing IHW because it has a history, it has a title, but no, we had the opportunity to I don't know, I don't even really know what it is. I know it's just going to be it's not going to be just hardcore and death matches. I know that for a fact because that's just not what we want to do in 2022.
I probably can compare it to like the middle days of ECW before they, when they kind of first broke away from the NWA. The rules are a little bit relaxed, but you're going to be seeing in-ring action. I mean, you're not going to be seeing guys jumping through 28 light tubes and slapping themselves from belly to
the health of the performers is still the number one priority. So,
well, and when you mention guys like Simon Bill and what was the other guy's name that I don't remember?
Sam Miller and Simon Bill.
That's what I meant. I think I combined them together. Sam Bill and Simon Miller.
Sam Bill and Simon Miller. Now you got me doing it.
Yeah, I think that's the one that people are going to be talking about, especially in this chat. Like, remember, this podcast is typically an NWA podcast, but our fans watch wrestling of all kinds. And you've had three people already put over Simon Miller and Sam Bill. So I mean that just goes to show you that you're doing a good job of having a good outreach, because there's already people, the fans are already excited to see, who might not even be familiar with your brand yet. So
thank you.
Kudos to you on that one.
We saw an opportunity with Simon and Sam we could have put it on IHWE, which more people know because if it's associated with Jim Cornette and its association with the NWA, more people know IHWE. However, we're trying to get IHW out there. So we saw an opportunity to take these two very known talents and say, okay, we could throw them on IHWE, which is great. Let's put them on IHW and let's give that brand the rub. And so that's what we're doing.
I love that idea. I love the concept that you are trying to put, marquee events on both shows. It's not like one of them is like a feeder show. You're really treating it like two separate entities, and I think that's brilliant. Let's go to the next the at 7 p.m. start. I mean, and that's a lot of wrestling in 2 hours. So I think folks are going to get their money's worth. You're packing it a lot in that 2 hour time.
Well, there's actually going to be a meet and greet in between the two shows.
There will be, yes. So the plan is, and we'll get to that. The plan is IHW is going to be a little more faster paced. So we're going to do away with the intermission during IHW, and it's just match after match after match. Nice. After IHW is over, there'll be a meet and greet. So that's the opportunity for the fans to get up, take a breather, go get a drink, go get some food, meet the wrestlers, autographs, and then get settled back in for 7 p.m. for the more traditional IHWE show. And you'll have an intermission in between that show. So, but yes, we are mindful of the fact that this is a lot of wrestling. We don't want our audience to get tired. That's why we're doing a lot of taping before we let the fans in. We're going to be taping some stuff because we've seen that the more matches, the audience gets tired. And much like the WWE is doing WrestleMania on 2 nights, the audience gets tired. And by the time you roll your main festivities out there, the audience, it doesn't necessarily mean they don't care about it. They're just too tired to react to it.
Right.
So that's something that we're seeing. And that's why, you don't see a whole lot of announced matches. There's not a ton of them. There's not like 10 or 15 or 20 matches for each show, or we're mindful of the fact that the audience is going to get tired. There's going to be a lot of content to consume that week. So let's give them their proper diet of professional wrestling or sports entertainment, whatever you want to call it. Let's give them the proper diet. Yeah, there you go. Let's give them their proper diet of it. Mix in with a meet and greet, and throw some surprises in there as well. So yes, but there will be a meet and greet and kind of a break in the action from IHW to IHWE.
So then we kick off the second hour. I mean, you've got a lot of good matches there. I mean, Laney Luck has been in the news lately. She was part of the angle with Busted Open and Thunder Rosa and Dave LaGreca. So there's a lot of people who are very familiar with Laney Luck. I mean, you've got Tim Storm on the card. Let's break this show down. And where do we start with?
Let's start with the Battle of Footwork, the 10-man tag. It's the Luigi Salas Memorial. You're going to have some IHW wrestlers in this, and it's going to be interesting to see how they coexist, considering they're in that Texas Slugfest. You got 2 of them, Aaron Mercer and the Mad Prince, who are going to be battling for the IHW Championship earlier in the evening. So it'll be interesting to see if they can coexist. You add in Chris Carter, which is a human highlight reel of Texas. That guy, it just takes risks that a lot of people wouldn't. And he's constantly being featured on TikTok. You're always seeing videos of him. He is going to be the real next big star to have a whole lot of pub and attention behind him. I know it. You've got the Reality of Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, Mysterious Q. And you've got the former NWA, North American, National, and World Heavyweight Champion, my dear friend, Tim Storm. And that is one tag team against T-Ray, trained by Killer Tim Brooks, Joe Angelo Garcia, Max Heights, former MPX champion Tommy Becker, and again, the big man, Sam Stackhouse. So again, it's going to be interesting because some of these wrestlers are going to be in that IHW championship match earlier in the night. So it'll be interesting to see. And we'll need to have replacements standing by in case one of these athletes does get injured during that match, as that can happen. This match is very special. It's the Battle of Footwork. It's a new concept we're trying to start. It'll be an annual match that we feature. It'll either be it'll be some sort of team affair every year. This year we're going with the 10-man tag. And this is an all-star game. I mean, If you were to line up an all-star game in Texas of 10 of the best, then these wrestlers would be in it. And so this is your opportunity to see 10 of the absolute best in one match. It's a memorial for Luigi Salas, one of our fans that passed away a couple years back. And it's the start of a new concept, the Battle of Fort Worth. I'm really excited about this match. I think the possibilities are endless. And I think this is going to be one of the matches, if not the match, everyone is talking about when they're leaving that night.
Well, and I'm going to be honest, I'm not super familiar with a lot of the guys that are on the card, but Mysterious Q is a guy who has really been out there making his name well known, recently challenging the NWA World Champion for the Impact Digital Media Championship in Matt Cardona. Mysterious Q has really gotten his name out there. And of course, our fans love Tim Storm as the fact that he was the he was the trustee of the NWA for such a long time, carrying that 10 pounds of gold and really helped establish the brand when Billy Corgan purchased it. So, I mean, you got two really, in my opinion, big names in the Texas wrestling scene that, even fans outside of Texas are aware of. So, again, really think this matchup is going to look good for you guys. And especially, it's going to introduce a lot of these, very talented individuals who might not be known throughout the nation. You're going to put them on the spotlight. I think that's great.
Absolutely. We've got the Queen of the Ring, the equivalent to the Women's Championship in IHWE. You've got Lainey Luck, as you mentioned, very much out there right now against Amaris BLAIR, who is, I believe, still in her first year or 2 years in professional wrestling. The Queen of the Ring has been held by Miss Dyslexia, Jessica James. It's been held by Ivory Reed. It's been challenged by some of the best. Leva Bates. It's been challenged by Delilah Doom. It's been challenged by Athena, who wrestled in WWE's Ember Moon. Angelus Lane. It has been challenged by a lot of very, very skilled athletes over the years. So the Queen of the Ring is going to be on the line. It'll be the first champion that we've had since 2017. This match could go either way. I'm really excited about it. We're going to crown a new IHWE champion. I still don't know what IHWE is going to be doing as far as that goes. That could go either way. Got to get with the office about that. Devin knows something about this. We're going to crown a new excellence champion, which
I know a little about that.
Yeah, he's an initiative that he started, and I'm proud that he did it. He actually got the belt made, so we're really happy about that. This will be something very interesting. We'll have a new champion, the inaugural champion that night. Once again, the office is being mum on that, and we've got the IHW. Insane Hardcore Wrestling Texas Brass Knuckles Championship on the line when the Unknown against Haas Holding. Now, what's interesting here is you got an IHW title match on an IHWE show. Now, why is that? Well, the two men who are wrestling are the walking examples of old school hustle. Don Haas Holding, as he says, is the 60-year-old outlaw. And he was born and raised here in Fort Worth, Texas. He went to high school here in Fort Worth. This is a big homecoming for him. The Unknown is somebody who made his way in Lions Pride Sports a while back, and he's been crashing parties and crashing shows over Texas for the past couple of years. Not a whole lot is known about him, hence the name, The Unknown. We've also got the 600-pound Mountain is going to be there. Don't know what he's going to do. I imagine he's going to do whatever he damn well pleases because he is 600 pounds, and who's going to tell him not to? We've got the 6'10", less talking, more smashing Fitz, who just looks like a guy you don't really want to run into. So he is a giant in every way imaginable. That is not a euphemism. That is not an exaggeration. This man is walking, talking box office. You've got the return of Aaron Eagle, who is a longtime competitor in the state of Texas, former PCW champion. And boy, Devin has never looked so good. So you've got Aaron Eagle making his return to IHWE. You know, what's interesting about Aaron Eagle is the last time he was in IHWE, He was the PCW heavyweight champion against the NWA Texas heavyweight champion at the time, Spoiler 2000. So it'll be a homecoming for Aaron Eagle. And you've also got somebody making his world premiere, Damon McCullough, North Dallas Damo, as he's called. He is a sponsored athlete from North Dallas Strength out in Dallas, Texas. He will have an interview with Mark Lowrance in the ring this Thursday night. So you talk about quite the debut. He's got an interview with Mark Lowrance, so that should be very interesting. And again, the beautiful thing about WrestleMania week, you never know who's going to show up at the Parade of Champions. You know, a list of people who showed up that weren't booked, that weren't advertised: Bobby Fulton, Sam Houston, let me see, Ricky Morton, and from New Japan Pro Wrestling, Jado. And I didn't even know Jado was there until he was already gone. I've got one of the guys who helps book New Japan Pro Wrestling at my show in my locker room. He got a picture with Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin. Shelton Benjamin was also on that show. Unadvertised, unbooked. He just showed up, and we were able to get Shelton involved in the show. To the biggest pop of the night, I had actually stepped outside. I was ring announcing the NWA World Heavyweight title match. And I had stepped out for 1 minute to do a video thanking everybody for coming. And the minute I go outside is the moment Shelton Benjamin walks out. And the building was, ask Devin, he was there. They went nuts. They went absolutely bonkers. And that is something that I live for. I live for that pop. And
Let
I
me
go
explain
in.
a little something here.
Go ahead.
As a fan that was there at the time. As you know, Charlie Haas was the quintessential old school heel. I mean, people hated him. Not hated him. Oh, he's cool. Hate him. Hated him. Little kids screamed things at him. And the number one thing that people screamed at House
Charlie.
Charlie was that Shelton's better. So they would scream that at him throughout matches and things, and he always got into one of the guys at ringside where
The
he would,
Rick, the WWE sign guy, the red hat guy. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, he would, knock his boot all over, pour his drink on him, whatever. And so it was a great moment because Charlie decided he was going to leave and starts exiting out one of the side doors that actually leaves. And Shelton Benjamin kind of happened to have been there and pushed him back ringside.
That's
to
great.
which sign guy Rick then poured his
With the
popcorn,
popcorn. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
all over
That's
half,
great.
and then Sheldon threw him back in the ring to be beat up by Jack Stain. So I mean that was a night that paid off literally months of people hating Charlie Haas and yelling Shelton's better, and then we got to see it.
Yeah, it just happened because Shelton. I knew Shelton was coming. A friend, the late great Fred Urban, promoter out of Midland, he called me a couple days ahead of time. Said, "Hey, can I bring Shelton to the show?" What am I going to say? No, of course. Bring Shelton to the show. Bring him to hang out. There were a lot of wrestlers there that were just there to hang out or sell gimmicks. Sanjay Dutt was there. Kurt Hawkins, Brian Myers was there. So there was a lot of people there that just wanted a table. And, we allowed it to happen. We want to help the talent. So they didn't have to do anything on the show. It would have been great, but I mean, it is what it is. Shelton was there. And then, throughout the night, it was, I don't want to get into it too much, but yeah, during the night, it was figured out that, hey, this would be a great opportunity. Shelton's better. I tell you what, I'll upload the clip if you guys want to share it on but it was just a moment. The crowd just went absolutely nuts. It was just one of those moments where we were able to give the audience a WrestleMania surprise. And then Shelton went back to WWE not too long after that. So it was really, really cool. I was happy that it happened. A little, as a traditionalist, much like you guys in the NWA World title matches, we don't really like to see that kind of stuff. But for that moment, it was fine. It was accepted because of the stuff Devin is talking about.
I would not have had a problem if that happened anywhere near the NWA World's title because, frankly, I mean, you're talking about world-class wrestlers, Charlie Haas, Jack Stane, Shelton Benjamin. I mean, all
And
top.
Jim Cornette was at ringside as well in Jack Stane's corner. So
yeah, perfect. I would definitely love to see that. Now, you mentioned the show is going to be available later, available via was it YouTube? Is that how you can?
Yes.
Okay. So anyone that's watching this right now, it's not going to be available immediately. You're not ordering a pay-per-view, but you will get it 100% free on YouTube, and we will put those links right here on this channel. We'll also share them on the website, alliance-wrestling.com, and of course on all the socials at the Alliance blog. We know DKM will be there. He'll be part of the festivities, and I'm sure he'll be sharing clips and stuff that we'll put up on our site as well. I mean, this looks like a great night of wrestling. Now, I know that towards the end of 2021, you guys started doing some of the smaller shows again, getting back into it. But this is really like the big comeback show. It feels like to me for you guys, because you're putting on that big event feel. Is that how it feels to you as well, Dave? Or
absolutely. What we were doing at Fanboys was trying to build to something, and then it kind of blew up in our face and that's what happens. But we were doing like exhibitions, getting ready to do monthly events at that building. And then, for reasons I care not to discuss about because it's irrelevant at this point, it just didn't happen. But we saw an opportunity to say, you know what, let's kick the door in during the biggest week of the year, and let's do it at the Ridglea Theater. Because I looked at the date and I was like, well, this is fate. The same day, the same venue. How often does this happen? Let's do it. It's the same circumstance too. So let's do it. Let's do it at the Ridglea Theater. Hey, you know how many people question my sanity? You're going to what? You're going to launch 2 brands? You're going to do it during WrestleMania week? What? Yes, I am. And that's what we're doing. Because you know what? With great risk is great reward. And we could do a show any other time. It won't get near the amount of attention that this coming week will. It is extremely important that we do this. It's extremely important that we have a positive event that people are talking about, because what I've told my team, and Devin can attest to this because he's been in the messages with me, this show right here and everything associated, the data, the media, the testimonials will be what we use to go get future events, to go get future sponsorships, to go get future relationships. This is what we are going to use. This event is extremely important. It's not just about the number of butts and seats. You're welcome, Tony Schiavone. It's not just about that. It's about the overall atmosphere and the feedback. I want people walking out of that place, getting on their phones going, oh my goodness, what a fantastic show. Because we're going to take that information. And by the way, Lee NAILON, talk about tonight. Oh, this is fantastic. Thank you. Katie Lynn, what did you enjoy about tonight? Thank you. Ty and Eli, thank you. Okay, let's take this. Let's walk into a business and say, hey, you want to do business with us now? Listen to these local celebrities and talk about how good our show is. Wednesday, we're doing an anti-bullying rally at an elementary school. And I've already got another elementary school calling me to do a reading program the following week. So, great. I mean, yeah, that's what I want to do. It's not about just putting a show. Anybody can roll into a city and throw up a ring and put on a show. I don't care to do that. I have lived here my whole life. I want to benefit the community. But to benefit the community, we got to show the community that we are worth supporting. And if we are worth supporting, then we can put ourselves up here and say, okay, now that we're here, now we're going to do this for you. We're going to do this for you. We're going to do this for the community. And we're going to do this for this cause. We have to get up here to show that we are actually worth supporting. And then that way, when we do, then we can start doing good for the community and giving back, which at this point in my life, I didn't have to come back. I'm 40. I am very content with everything that I've done. I'm not going to sit here and toot my own horn and say I've done this, that, and the other. You want to read about what I've done? Pick up Keith Elliot Greenberg's book. It's in there. I don't have to talk about it. It's in the book. So you can read about it. I don't need to do it, but I want to. I want to work with the talent, and I want to be able to give back to the community. So this is extremely important.
Well, I'm excited for you guys. I really think you're going to have something special this WrestleMania weekend. I know there are other promotions running all weekend long, but make sure you're supporting locally grown talent, supporting locally grown businesses. Make sure you're supporting the Dallas-Fort Worth area, especially if you live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. But if you're visiting, hey, they got room for you too. Tickets available at the box office. Can they get them beforehand?
Yeah, we're doing pre-sales. I just sold a ringside ticket last night. Guy's coming from Germany.
Wow.
And he's making this his first stop. He's making this show his first stop. Think about that. Think about all the shows. Think about New Japan and AAA and all the shows going on Thursday. He's making this his first stop. To me, that just baffles me. You want to know why? Because he was at the Parade of Champions.
Oh, wow.
Hey,
and he remembers.
Last time 6 years ago when I was just a guy in the audience, IHWE kicked off the Wrestlemania weekend, and there was nobody else running Thursday.
Correct.
And there were only a couple of people running Friday. This year, there's like 5 additional shows that are running. Now, almost all of them are in Dallas or a Dallas suburb. So, especially the Fort Worth, the Arlington, the mid-cities of North Richland Hills and Hearst and Euless and Bedford and Benbrook down in the
Aledo, Weatherford,
Aledo, Weatherford, all that. If you don't want to go all the way to Dallas to see one of the best wrestling shows in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex that's going to be on during WrestleMania weekend, including the big shows, come here. It's close to everything. I've done promos already. Cut 10 minutes from downtown, 20 minutes from the stockyards, 8 minutes from Crockett Row, 8 minutes from the shops at Clear Fork. There's plenty of stuff on Camp Bowie itself. You'll find food, you'll find shopping. You can you can come make a day of it and just come to the wrestling event. Whatever you want to do. There's a nightlife here. Fort Worth is a modern city.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's where the West began, but it's a modern city. There's a lot of things to do here. Come spend the day. Come spend the night. Wake up in your hotel hungover the next day and drag your ass to some other show. But, make your first show.
Right.
make your first show before you have a little bit too much. Make your first show IHWE.
Right. And you know who's doing something in Fort Worth Thursday night later at Billy Bob's? Steve Austin. He's got his beer brand is doing some sort of party at Billy Bob's late Thursday night. So alluding to your point, come to our show. Our show will be over with by 10 o'clock. And then roll yourself to Billy Bob's, which is 10 or 15 minutes up the road. And there you go. You're hanging out with Stone Cold Steve Austin at Billy Bob's. But Stone Cold Steve Austin is doing that here in Fort Worth on Thursday night. So there you go. An opportunity to hang out with Stone Cold Steve Austin on Thursday night at Billy Bob's. Another Fort Worth institution. But yes, there's Fanboys Marketplace, and they've got all kinds of stuff you can look at and buy. Fort Worth Camera is a wonderful place to stop at. They're supporting us. There's a lot of local businesses that are working with us and supporting us. So I know Mulan Murray, our social media ambassador, the great librarian and educator that she is from the University of Texas Arlington. She's the curator of the history of Texas professional wrestling at the UTA libraries. She's actually responsible for the archives of professional wrestling in the UTA libraries. I know she's handed out over 100 plus flyers at the UTA campus. Now, one more thing I want to point out. It was just announced this week that my dear friend Mark Bauer, who ran for Congress in the 2020 election as an independent, he is going to be there on Thursday. He's just coming to hang out, but he is actually going to be handing out, I don't know how it's going to be handed out or distributed yet, $2,000 worth of free gasoline gift cards. So if you come to the show, you have an opportunity to win a gift card to fill up your gas tank. He wants to help out. His exact words to me were, David, let's give away some money. With soaring gas prices, let's give away some money. And we went back and forth over a couple of days, and I said, hey, how do you want to do it? He got back to me and said, hey, let's just give away some gasoline gift cards. And I said, that's fantastic. So if you come to Old School Hustle, you have an opportunity to win a gift card to put some gas in your car. So not only are you getting a great show, and again, what I talked about, I was at Fort Worth Camera this week doing promos. The thing about independent wrestling is you can reach out and touch the wrestlers. You can walk up to them and shake their hands. You can walk up to them and get a picture. WWE, you might be able to do that at Access. You're paying a lot of money. And, hey, they get to do that. You're standing in a long line. At IHWE, you're going to be up and personal. If you don't want to wait in that line, I guarantee you can walk around the corner and find somebody else and just go talk to them for a few minutes. Because everybody starts here on the independents. My first wrestling show that I remember was at Will Rogers Coliseum in 1989 when Eric Embry and Percy Pringle wrestled Gorgeous Gary Young and Cactus Jack. Akbar was with Devastation Incorporated. Frank Dusek was the referee. It was a scaffold match, the one Mick Foley talks about so much. And the first time I met Mark Lowrance, I walked right up to him and he was shoving a hot dog in his mouth. But he took the time to shake my hand and give me an autograph. And now all these years later, what's happening? Mark Lowrance is working for me. So, I mean, on those independent shows, and that's what World Class was at the time, 1989, they were an independent. That's the cool thing about coming up to our shows is you're right there. You don't have to pay hundreds of dollars to get close to the ring. You're integrated. You're a part of it. You're a part of the atmosphere. The fans make or break the show.
I mean, it sounds really interesting. It sounds like it's going to be a fun night. Tim Storm's going to be there. That's enough reason for NWA fans to be there in and of itself. And he is a nice guy. Go say hi to him.
He's wonderful.
He's definitely cool, dude.
As long as you're not wrestling him.
Well, yeah, but none of us are.
Once that bell rings, man.
Did you ever, David, when you wrestled, did you ever step in the ring with Tim Storm?
He was my tag team partner in 2008 on the anniversary of the John F. Kennedy assassination in Dallas, Texas. Jeez. Tim Storm actually teamed up with me for the IHWE Tag Team Championship, and he actually did me a solid. And he was fighting one of the guys to the back in the locker room, and I was in the ring, and I got beat. Because God knows, if Tim would have been in the match, we'd probably still be the tag team champions. So no, he was my tag team partner. So no, I've never actually been on the opposite side of him, and I'm glad I'm retired.
And I'm sure your body's happy with that too.
Absolutely.
Speaking of that, and Tim Storm, Tim's getting up there, people. He's admitted that there's not many more times he's going to be lacing the boots and getting in the ring. So he's got this appearance and one other here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex over WrestleMania weekend. If you want to see him in the ring, take this opportunity.
I agree.
Well, I think that's going to do it for us on this edition. And David, we do want you to come back here, especially when the show is starting to be released on YouTube in May.
Absolutely.
And we'll promote the heck out of it over here at the Alliance Guys podcast because good wrestling content is so hard to come by. And we're super critical of the NWA, but we love it. And we're looking forward to dining on your programs, both shows.
Thank you.
Again, we'll be putting that out here. But that's going to do it for us, guys. Thanks for tuning into this special episode of the Alliance Guys podcast. And until next time, we'll see you at the matches. Thanks for joining the stream. This has been a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com. We genuinely appreciate your support. Would you consider subscribing so you'll never miss a future episode? I'd also like to remind you we do a live stream every Tuesday at 5 p.m. before NWA Power. You can find us on social media at The Alliance Blog. And until next time, we are The Alliance.